Hello and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Manchester United transfer news, giving you the latest Manchester United transfer news with that real fan opinion. And I tell you what, the show last night was fantastic. Thanks for everyone who watched it, and I think collectively we have dusted down the cobwebs of nonsense, Ronaldo, Lewandowski and all that lot, and I think we're back on track in relation to the transfer news now. Positivity reigns. We've still got 2.5 weeks to sort this transfer market out, and we've got faith in Woodward and Mourinho to do so. So the targets today, I think they're realistic. We've got updates on Rodriguez and Fabinho, which I know a lot of you will want. Some realistic targets, and also people going out the door as well. So real interesting stuff, and I think we need to get that mindset back with United now. Let's stop falling into the trap. We've been as bad as it as well. Let's just get into reality. And also, Steve said that he's got a bet on that I will have done the yawn by the 5th minute of the video. So that's becoming a regular feature now. When will the yawn happen? Keep your eye on that. But you'll know what I mean. Let's start off then. Barcelona midfield targeted by Manchester United, and it's Andre Gomes. If you've been watching the United Stand for longer than 12 months, you'll know that we spoke about Gomes last summer. He was one of the players we spoke about very, very early when Mourinho was appointed, because he's one of those. We did a video actually when Mourinho was appointed, which was George Mendes, Mourinho, agent, and what players are under Mendes that will probably come to United. It never actually materialised because we got most of our players from Mini Raiola. We've never really had any Mendes. We've not had any Mendes clients under Mourinho, which is weird because they've got a very close relationship. So Gomes was somebody we spoke about last summer. He ended up going to Barcelona. Not had an amazing season at Barcelona, but he has played 30 games. Meant to be surplus to requirements, and George Mendes is meant to be over in Barcelona discussing a deal to Manchester United. It's very vague. I don't necessarily think there's anything in it, but I think it's worth a mention. He's a decent midfielder, and to be honest with you, he's not a centre defensive midfielder though. He's a midfielder that would be what I think we need. Somebody who can provide a bit of depth in relation to our attacking midfielders. And I don't mean like your Matas, your Mkhitaryan's. I mean that, as I've said before, if you take Fellaini, Herrera and Pogba as our midfield three from last season, you've only really got a declining Carrick and a young Fosu Mensah as backup. If we go into a new season with one centre defensive midfielder, I still don't think that's enough. So I do think that we need a centre defensive midfielder and a midfielder. And Andre Gomes is more of an attacking midfielder. Like I said, 6'2", creative, would fit into the sort of Herrera in the attacking sense, the Pogba sort of position. Not a holding midfielder by any means, but somebody who can create. Do I think we'll go for him? Probably not. I don't think Barcelona would want to get rid of him after one season, but he's a decent player, and he is a player that we spoke about last summer as being a potential signing that looked quite decent. I just don't, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to signing him because we do need a midfielder of that sort of quality away from the centre defensive midfield position, but maybe there's something in it. Well worth a mention. Wouldn't be massively opposed to his signing. He's a better player than that crap Talisca player that we were meant to be signing, whose agent has now come out and confirmed that it was total nonsense. So now I don't have to argue with people about the fact that he wasn't good enough for United and was really about the level of a Swansea City player at best. But that's Andre Gomes. The next player I want to talk about is Marcelo Brozovic from Inter Milan. We mentioned him back at the end of March for the international break when Mourinho went over to watch Croatia play Ukraine. Everyone assumed it was about Perisic, but Perisic didn't play that game, although I think he probably was over talking to Perisic's agent. But then they were talking about maybe Marcelo Brozovic, who's in his mid-20s. And if we are looking at somebody to come in as a midfielder, to give a bit more depth to the Pogba, Herrera sort of positions, which I think we do need, then I would take Brozovic over Andre Gomes, who I've just spoken to. He's quicker, he's more skillful, and he has the same sort of attributes. He's slightly smaller, he's just under 6 foot, but he is quicker, he is more creative, and he's better at running with the ball. So I'd prefer Brozovic over Gomes if we're in for either of them. But I think both those links are quite encouraging. I've mentioned Ross Barkley in the past. People have mentioned Renato Sanchez. I want us to sign 2 midfielders. I want a centre defensive midfielder. I want another midfielder who is just a little bit of, you know, depth and squad depth. And Brozovic, Gomes, even Renato Sanchez would be a good shout for those sort of positions. Let's talk about Adnan Januzaj before I talk about James Rodriguez and Fabinho. Adnan Januzaj apparently will be off to Real Sociedad for just under £10 million, 9.7 million. Now I've got to be even-handed on this because I know that over the season Januzaj has been mentioned a lot on watch-alongs and live shows, and I wouldn't say it's split, but there are people who think Januzaj deserves another chance. There's some like me who thinks he's had his chance. Get rid of him, and 10 million's a good bit of business. Januzaj burst on the scene under Moyes. He was one of the few positives from Moyes, very, very few positives. And then when Moyes was sacked, Januzaj's career sort of spiralled out of control. He was given, though, and I must always say, he was given four first team games in the league in a row in both seasons under Van Gaal. He did give him the chance, and he didn't take the chance. He went to Dortmund, he got sent home, he spent a season at Sunderland, and I always use Pereira as the example. Januzaj got relegated with Sunderland and did nothing. Pereira got relegated for Granada and was one of the best players in the league. And, you know, there's no excuses. And we are Manchester United, and I think we've got too many players like Januzaj who are, oh, let's give them a chance, you know, average, deadwood, get rid of him. We've got Jesse Lingard, and Januzaj is just another, at best, Januzaj is another Jesse Lingard, and that's not good enough. We can carry one, we don't need to carry two, and I'm very, very pleased. Look, people can get on Mourinho's back and Woodward's back for not getting the transfer business done early, but I think in the way they're getting rid of players, it's commendable. Good fee for Memphis, good fee for Schneiderlin, 10 million for Januzaj, get him off the books and get 10 million. Let's not forget he got quite a decent contract. Get him out, and I'm comfortable with it. Nothing against the lad. I hope he goes on to have a good career. Don't want a buyout clause. Don't want a buyback clause. Apparently he doesn't want a buyback clause in there because he wants to wash his hands of United. If that's true, it sort of rings true with a lot of what people have said about Januzaj being a bit of a petulant child. Needs to grow up, sort his career out, and never come back to Manchester United as far as I'm concerned. You had your chance. Bye bye. Harsh, but I think fair. What's happening with Fabinho? Well, I'd love to say Manchester United are in for him, and he's going to be our next centre defensive midfielder. As you know, I think he's absolutely perfect for us. 6'2", good on the ball, tenacious, quick, and he's not bad at penalties either. And he can play right back and centre back at a push. Very, very good player. Wish he was coming to Manchester United. When we thought he was coming to us about a week and a half ago, it was well reported that he was on his honeymoon. The latest in relation... Oh, I thought the yawn was coming then, but it's well beyond 5 minutes, Steve. It's gone. Fabinho, the latest with Fabinho... I bet I won't bloody yawn now for the first show ever. Fabinho is apparently Juventus or... Juventus want either Fabinho or Danilo from Real Madrid, I think it is. Or PSG wants him. They're the two clubs who are in for Fabinho at the moment. No mention of Manchester United, unfortunately. And there you go. That was news coming. 8 minutes in, was it? 7-8 minutes? It was a good one, that one. So yeah, nothing for United, but obviously I think Fabinho will leave Monaco, and whoever gets him will get a good signing. In relation to James Rodriguez, I know a lot of you want James Rodriguez to sign for United. I wouldn't be opposed to it if we're not going to get anybody better. James Rodriguez, well, George Mendes, going back to him, is his agent. He's been banding him around Europe and the top clubs. He's tried to get him moved to Manchester United. I just don't think Mourinho's biting. He doesn't seem to want him. AC Milan, as I keep saying, Serie A are winning this transfer window so far. Juventus have made some good signings with Douglas Costa. They're meant to be getting Fabinho, as I've just mentioned there. There was somebody else they're in for. AC Milan have made numerous good signings, and James Rodriguez is apparently where he's going to go for £57 million. Well, if we could have got him for £57 million, I think he would be perfect for United, but it's looking like we're not in for him. Just very quickly on Inter Milan, I know I mentioned Brozovic there. Perisic is a player we're trying to get out of them. Inter Milan, I mean, just to briefly mention Ronaldo, not that we're in for him or anything like that, but when the Ronaldo rumour was going, where he would go if he left Real Madrid, obviously United, PSG were mentioned, Inter Milan were mentioned. Inter Milan have got new cash rich by owners from China, which may make you think, well, why are we trying to get Perisic from them if they've got cash rich owners? Well, they've got to comply with financial fair play, and they've got to be very, very careful how they spend their money. So that is part of the reason they're trying to, I think they're trying to raise 30 million by the end of June to comply with financial fair play, which I'm going to have to look into because a lot of people are mentioning this. So I will look into this, and I'll give you the update either later on or on tomorrow morning's show. But yeah, Inter Milan have got a lot of money, and I think they'll start spending it soon as well. So a very interesting transfer window. That's your update on Fabinho and Rodriguez. Doesn't look like either's coming to United, which I know is going to disappoint you a bit. Midfielders, Gomes and Brozovic we spoke about, and obviously Januzaj, time to go. But give us your thoughts. I've enjoyed the show today. I think it's been a weird, since Lindelof signed, it's been a weird week, I think, in relation to, we now, you know, I expect we'll be signing Harry Kane. I wish I'd tweeted this out yesterday. I think we'll be linked to Harry Kane strongly in the next 10 days. We won't sign him, but I just think Harry Kane's the next player to link United to, because we've done Bale, we've had Ronaldo, we've had Lewandowski, we've had Neymar, the Griezmann thing obviously, so I think Harry Kane will probably be next, and that's the danger we've got at the moment in relation to the transfer window and what the press are doing. But hang in there, there's credible news in there, there's credible people to be looking at, and I think we've looked at a few today, maybe off the beaten track, but I'm encouraged by the fact that we might be looking at 2 midfielders, because I think, as I've said before, Fellaini, Pogba, Herrera, Carrick, Fosu Mensah, a new signing isn't enough. I think we need another one. Let's see what happens. Thanks everyone for watching. Remember to drop a like on the video, and I must just add that the t-shirts, the United Stand t-shirts, are now available through Amazon. Links are in the video description if you're based in the UK or America. I'll leave them links in the video description, and I'll speak to you all later. 8:30 tonight as per usual. It's the Skype show tonight, so it's your show. Skype in, have your say. Looking forward to that, because I never know how it's going to go, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Unless something happens through the day, I'll see you all at 8:30. Thanks for watching.